Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive. This is the space where we take complex topics and we try to turn them into simple, really powerful, and immediately actionable knowledge for you.
Our mission is always about giving you that shortcut to being genuinely well-informed.
And today, we are taking a deep dive that is designed specifically for you, the learner. We are focusing on mastering English fluency quickly, thoroughly, and maybe most importantly,
Without you having to completely change your life.
exactly, without finding extra hours in a day you just don't have.
Mm-hmm.
I am your host, and with me is our expert, Jamie. We invite you to join our conversation right now.
And we're going to keep this discussion slow, very clear,
Yeah.
and just intensely practical.
Absolutely. Before we jump in, if you find this knowledge shortcut helpful, please think about liking this session and subscribing to our channel. It's called Native Ear.
And maybe share it with someone else who's on this same journey.
Okay, let's dive into the core frustration that our sources really address. So many people believe that to speak English well, you have to do something extreme.
Right? They think they need to move to the UK or America.
Or they feel like they have to study for 3, maybe 4 hours every single night.
And we're here to show you that that belief is, well, it's just not true.
It's a major barrier for so many learners.
It really is. Our sources talk about a fundamental shift in how you should think about it. Fluency isn't about your location or, the number of hours you spend with a book.
It's about consistency.
Consistency and targeted application, using the language every day.
So what you really need are these, what did you call them? Micro practices.
Exactly. Small, smart steps that are easy to repeat, that fit into the routine you already have.
And they build confidence slowly over time.
Right. We're moving away from this idea of studying English as a chore.
And more towards just using English as a tool. That's the perfect way to put it. It's a functional tool.
We're looking for that minimum effective dose, right?
Mm-hmm.
The small techniques that help you feel more comfortable, more natural, and ultimately a lot more confident when you're out there using English in the real world. And we're going to start today with what's really the foundational technique. You can even call it a secret weapon for improving your speaking fast.
Okay.
It's called shadowing.
Shadowing. Okay, that sounds a little technical, but you said it's actually the simplest and most powerful place to start.
It is. So let's introduce this nice and slow.
Let's do it.
Shadowing is quite simply one of the best techniques out there because it does two things at once.
Okay, what are they?
It drastically improves your speaking skills and your listening skills at the exact same time. It's a powerful exercise that needs almost nothing. Just you and someone speaking English.
So let's break down the mechanics of it. How does someone listening do this right now? Maybe they could even practice with our voices.
Okay, great idea. The process is incredibly simple. You listen to someone speaking English, a podcast, a video, a song, this conversation, and your mission is to repeat exactly what they say.
But not after they finish the sentence?
No, almost instantly.
Yeah.
You're not waiting for the sentence to end. You're trying to be like a simultaneous echo.
An echo. I like that. That makes sense because an echo copies everything, not just the words.
That's the crucial insight. You're not just copying the words, you're trying to synchronize your voice with the speaker's voice.
So what are the key elements you're trying to copy?
There are three main things. First, the same speed. Second, the same tone, the emotion or feeling in the words.
Okay, speed and tone. What's the third?
The exact same rhythm and stress pattern. You are trying to become a perfect sonic duplicate of the original speaker.
That makes me think it's more of a physical act, just copying sound. But I can already hear a concern from listeners.
Go on.
Wait a minute, if I'm trying to copy instantly, I can't possibly understand every single word. How can I say something I don't get?
That is a brilliant question, and it gets right to the heart of what shadowing is designed to fix.
Okay.
The sources are very clear about what shadowing is not. And these prohibitions, these rules, are essential for it to work.
So there are things you absolutely should not do.
Yes. 3 strict rules. Rule number 1, you do not stop. You don't stop the audio, you don't stop speaking, you just keep going, even if you miss words.
Just keep moving. Okay, rule 2.
Rule number 2, you absolutely do not translate the words in your mind back into your native language. That's a huge one.
No translating. And the third?
You do not pause to look up a word in a dictionary.
So you just copy the sound. That's it. It's a purely auditory and physical exercise in that moment, not an intellectual one.
Exactly. And that's a huge departure from how we're taught to learn languages.
It feels wrong, almost.
It does, but it's rooted in how our brains process language.
Yeah,
Think about why translating slows you down.
it's an extra step.
It's a huge extra step. You're using the part of your brain for your native language as a bridge, and crossing that bridge takes time. Milliseconds, maybe, but they add up.
Right, and that's where the hesitation comes from, the ums and sullies when you're searching for a word.
Precisely. Fluent English speaking means you have to connect your brain directly to English sounds and structures. Shadowing forces you to do that. It bypasses the translation step.
It forces your brain and your mouth to talk to each other directly in English.
Yes, you're training the production part of your brain, what some scientists call the speaking muscles.
Let's talk more about that, the speaking muscles, because that's a key insight. We think of language as a mental task, like math.
Right.
But you're saying it's more like a physical skill, like learning to play the guitar or, I don't know, ride a bike.
Exactly like that. Speaking is a complex motor skill. It involves incredibly fast, fine-tuned movements of your tongue, your lips, your jaw.
And English needs those muscles to move in ways that might be totally different from your native language.
Very different. Shadowing trains that physical mechanism. It literally builds muscle memory for English.
You wouldn't expect to get good at basketball just by reading books about it.
Of course not. You have to go out and shoot the ball over and over again. When you repeat English sentences, copying that rhythm, you're building the physical memory for English sounds.
The goal is automaticity. You want the sound to go from your ear to your brain and out of your mouth without you consciously thinking about it.
That's the key. That's why the purpose of shadowing isn't understanding every word in that moment.
It's physical training.
It's physical training for your mouth. So even if you only understand, say, 30% of what you're shadowing, that's okay. The benefit is in the action itself.
And the results. If you do this for just 5 minutes a day, what happens?
The outcome is huge, especially for such a small time investment. You'll notice 3 main things. 1, you'll speak faster because you're killing that translation step.
Okay.
2, your pronunciation gets much, much better. You'll speak more clearly. And 3, you'll start to sound more natural because you're copying the real rhythm of native speakers.
So shadowing is the foundation. It shows you don't need these long, painful study sessions. You just need focused physical repetition.
It's a profound shift. It moves you from passively learning rules to actively making sound. And that idea of active production is the cornerstone for everything else we'll talk about.
Okay, so before we get to the other daily tips, we have to talk about the real barriers, the things that stop people before they even start.
The internal barriers.
Right. As a learner, you're always thinking, I just don't have time, or I'm always busy. Or the big one, I feel so nervous when I speak, I'm afraid of making mistakes.
And those feelings are completely normal. They're almost universal.
Yeah.
But we can't let them be a wall you can't get over.
So what's the counter argument?
The sources are direct about this. The message is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a lot of time. You don't need perfect grammar. You absolutely do not need to wait for the right moment.
You just need to begin.
You just have to start.
I think that idea of perfect grammar is the biggest hurdle. We spend so much time studying rules in school that we feel like we're being disrespectful if we speak with mistakes. So we wait.
And that waiting is what stops you from ever activating those speaking muscles we just talked about.
You never start the training.
Never. In reality, communication is so much more important than perfect grammar, especially at the start. If you can get your idea across, even with a small mistake, you've succeeded.
Whoa, so how do you get over that anxiety of making mistakes, especially when you're just practicing by yourself?
By reframing what a mistake is. Mistakes are not failures. They're data. They're signposts showing you where to go next.
Start now, refine later.
That's the mindset. Fluency is built by speaking, not by correcting every little thing in your head before you even open your mouth. We have to prioritize massive, consistent practice over cautious, isolated perfection.
Embrace the imperfection.
Exactly.
That's powerful. Okay, so with that mindset, let's introduce these 5 simple ways to practice English every single day, right in your real life.
These 5 areas, listening, active repetition, internal thought, vocal practice, and total integration, they all work together to create an immersive English environment around you.
Even if you're thousands of miles away from an English-speaking country.
Especially then.
Let's start with the foundation, the input you need for everything else to work.
Tip number 1, consistent daily listening. This is the bedrock. If you want to speak better, you have to train your ears first.
Every day, not just once a week in a class.
Every single day. It has to become a non-negotiable part of your routine.
So why is listening so much more important than, say, reading a textbook? What are the deep benefits?
Okay, so daily listening gives you 4 huge benefits. First, yes, you learn new words, but you learn them in context, which helps them stick.
Right.
Second, and this is key for sounding natural, you hear the real rhythm of English, the stress, the intonation, the melody of the language.
You mentioned English is a stress-timed language. What does that actually mean for a learner?
It means we don't give equal time to every syllable. Some syllables are stretched out and stressed, and others are shortened or reduced. This creates a kind of rhythmic pulse.
And if your language doesn't do that, you might sound a bit robotic when you speak English.
Exactly. Consistent listening is the cure for that. It trains your ear for that pulse. The third benefit is it trains your ears to understand English at a fast, real-world speed.
This is where things like linking sounds and reductions come in, right?
Yes, and reductions are often the biggest point of confusion for new listeners.
Can you give us a concrete example?
Sure. A textbook teaches you to say going to, but a native speaker almost always says gonna.
Want to becomes wanna.
Got to becomes gotta. If you're only listening to slow, careful textbook English, your ear is just not prepared for how people actually speak.
So daily listening exposes you to these real-world sounds.
Right. And the fourth benefit is that you hear how real people speak, with slang, with filler words, with accents. It's not the sterile English from a textbook.
So how do we make this a habit? You said something about making English your background music.
That's the strategy. You have to integrate it into things you're already doing. Listen to podcasts like this one. Listen to English music. Watch YouTube videos on topics you actually like.
Cooking, gaming, whatever.
Whatever you're interested in. And here is the crucial rule, the one that gives you mental relief.
Okay.
You do not need to understand 100%.
That's so important.
It is. If you're stressed trying to catch every word, you're missing the point. If you only get 30 or 50%, it is still incredibly useful.
Because you're still absorbing the rhythm.
The rhythm, the intonation, those linking sounds, all of it. Just 10 or 15 minutes a day while you walk, clean, or exercise. That's enough to make a huge difference.
Okay, so that leads us perfectly from passive input to active output. You're already listening every day for tip 1. So the next logical step is to use your voice. Listening is great, but speaking is how you really build the muscle.
That's the perfect transition. Tip 2 is to actively shadow what you hear. We're turning that foundational technique into a daily routine.
And just to remind everyone, this isn't imitation where you listen, pause, then repeat.
No, this is shadowing. The immediate, continuous echo.
Where's the best place to do this? Do you need to be alone?
Ideally, you're in a private space where you can repeat out loud.
Yeah.
But you can do it almost anywhere. If you're on a bus or walking down the street, you can shadow in a quiet whisper.
Or even just mouthing the words silently.
Yes. The physical movement of the mouth and tongue is still happening. You're still activating those speaking muscles.
So after you listen to a phrase, you immediately repeat it.
You copy the voice, you match the rhythm. This turns passive listening into an active speaking drill.
So if I hear a phrase like, I am improving little by little, I should immediately try to match that speed and that melody.
Exactly. And the sources suggest repeating simple phrases like that again and again. Use affirmations. I want to get better at English. I do not understand everything, but I keep going.
Why is that repetition so important? Don't you need new words?
New vocabulary is important, of course. But for this specific exercise, we're not focused on meaning. We're focused on motor skill development.
Like a musician practicing scales.
Precisely. You are not repeating to learn new words. You are repeating to burn the sound and the physical feeling of the sentence into your muscle memory.
Until it becomes automatic.
Until it requires no conscious thought. The result is smoother, clearer speech, and way more confidence because your mouth knows what to do.
Okay, so tip 3. This one is the big internal shift.
This is the directive to start thinking in English, one short thought at a time. This is the most private, lowest pressure practice you can do.
It's also really hard because that reflex to translate from your native language is so strong.
It is, but we've already established that translation is what slows you down. Thinking directly in English is how you build that direct mental connection between an idea and the English word for it.
You're cutting out the middleman.
You're cutting out the middleman, which is your native language.
Yeah.
When you translate, you think. Idea, native language,
Okay.
3 steps.
What do you think in English?
English, English, 1 step. That's where fluency begins.
So how does a learner start this without feeling totally overwhelmed?
You have to start incredibly small. The sources say to begin with short, simple sentences about what's right in front of you.
Give us some examples for, say, a morning routine.
Okay. You wake up. Instead of your usual internal monologue, you think in English. It is morning. I am sleepy. I need coffee.
Simple observations.
Very simple. As you get dressed, I am wearing a blue shirt. It is cold outside. When you're commuting, the sky is blue. I see a dog. I am waiting.
These are tiny, almost robotic thoughts.
But they force your brain to keep activating its English centers all day long with no extra study time. The world becomes your textbook.
That's a great way to think about it. And what's the next step once you get comfortable with that internal monologue?
The next step is to bridge the gap between thought and speech. Try to say those thoughts out loud.
You don't have to shout them.
No, just a whisper is fine. Whispering to yourself, I'm going home now. This starts to transfer that new mental speed into actual physical speaking.
Okay, moving to tip 4, we're back to active physical practice. This is reading aloud, which the sources call the gym for your speaking muscles.
I love that phrase because reading silently is great for learning words, but reading aloud is for fluency. When you read silently, it's just your eyes and your brain.
But when you read aloud,
You force your eyes, your brain, and your mouth to all work together at the same time.
it's that physical training again. It reinforces the muscle memory from shadowing, but with new material.
Right. And for this to work, you have to choose short, simple texts. A children's book, a dialogue from a video. Simplicity lets you focus on the physical act of speaking correctly.
And there's a specific 3-step process for this, right?
A very effective one. Step 1. Read the text slowly and clearly. Focus only on perfect pronunciation. Say every single sound.
Okay, slow and clear first.
Then,
Then,
Step 2. Read the same text again, but a little faster. You're practicing speaking at a more natural speed while trying to keep that clarity from Step 1.
and then step 3 is the performance.
Step 3 is critical. Read it again with expression. Imagine you're an actor on a stage. Use your voice, change your tone, emphasize important words, bring it to life.
Why is adding that emotion and expression so important for fluency?
Because it connects the physical act of speaking with meaning. Language isn't just words, it's communication. It has a melody.
Licity.
Exactly, prosody. When you read with expression, you're practicing the natural rising and falling tones of English. It improves your pronunciation, and just as importantly, it builds your confidence for real conversations.
So reading aloud is a full workout for your speaking skills.
It's the whole package.
We've covered the core techniques. Now tip 5, which feels more like a grand philosophy that ties everything together.
It is. The sources say that if you want to speak English well, you can't just study English. You have to live with English.
It has to become part of your everyday life, like your morning coffee.
Exactly. It can't be some separate task you only do in a classroom. It has to be integrated.
Let's break down some easy ways to do that, starting with passive learning by just changing your environment.
The simplest, most effective, zero-time cost change you can make is to change your phone's language to English.
This is so smart. We all look at our phones hundreds of times a day. You're creating hundreds of tiny learning moments.
You're leveraging passive vocabulary acquisition. You will learn words like settings, delete, download, notifications, just by seeing them over and over again in context.
It's way more powerful than a vocabulary list because you see the word and the function at the same time.
Your brain just absorbs it naturally. Use your daily technology to work for you.
Okay, let's move to some simple active practices that don't take much time but force you to actually produce language. First up is writing a short diary.
And the key word there is short. We are not asking for long, complicated essays. The goal is just 3 to 5 simple sentences about your day every night. A 5-minute habit.
And you're using vocabulary that's directly relevant to your own life.
The most relevant vocabulary possible. Today I went to work. I was very tired. I drank 2 cups of coffee.
You're practicing sentence structure, verb tenses with words you actually use.
Consistently, every single night. That consistency is what builds the skill.
And the next tip tackles that deep fear of speaking head-on, recording a 1-minute voice message every day.
This might be the most valuable tip for building confidence in a safe, private way. You open the recording app on your phone, and you just talk for 60 seconds.
About anything.
Anything. Your day, your plans for tomorrow, how you're feeling. Tomorrow I will go to the market. I need to buy milk. Simple things.
And the power of this is that it's okay to make mistakes. No one else has to hear it.
That privacy is everything. It kills the anxiety.
Yeah.
But the real learning happens the next day when you listen back to yourself.
Ah, so you become your own teacher.
You do. You hear your own hesitation points. You notice your own pronunciation mistakes and common grammar errors way more clearly.
It's a direct feedback loop.
The most powerful kind. It builds confidence, fluency, and the critical skill of self-correction.
Okay, we've covered personal practice. What about integrating English into your social world, online?
This is about making English feel alive. You don't need a formal classroom. The advice is to join an English-speaking group online.
On WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook.
Exactly. Find other learners. The point isn't always to find a perfect native speaker. The point is to make English a tool for connection.
So you send short messages, voice notes.
You ask and answer questions. Suddenly, English isn't a school subject anymore. It's how you talk to people about real things. It becomes a living language for you.
And finally, the last tip is about using modern short-form media to make learning fun.
Yes. Use TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. Find content on topics you love in English. The videos are short, usually under a minute, which is perfect for a busy learner.
And how do you use these actively, not just scrolling?
Simple. Watch a video 2 or 3 times, then watch it again, pausing after each sentence, and repeat it out loud.
Shadowing, but with a fun video.
Exactly. You copy the voice, the tone, the speed. A 30-second video can give you 5 minutes of intense, focused, and fun practice. It shows you how English is really spoken right now.
So these 5 pillars, plus the core technique of shadowing, they create a whole system that doesn't demand much extra time, but it does demand consistency.
Let's bring all of this together. The core insight from all our sources is this. Using English in your daily life isn't hard, and it doesn't take much time.
And you don't need a teacher standing over your shoulder to do these things.
Not at all. And here's the secret to moving from studying English to truly living in English.
Okay.
You have to turn small daily actions into English micro-practices. Fluency comes from replacing your native language habits with English habits, one by one.
Give us some final, really clear examples of those habit replacements.
Okay. When you wake up, instead of thinking good morning in your language, force yourself to think it or whisper it in English.
Simple.
When you write your shopping list, write it in English. When you check the weather, read it in English. Instead of watching 5 minutes of random videos in your language, watch 5 minutes of an English video.
You're swapping out the default setting in your brain.
You are. And these micro-practices build strong habits. And strong habits are what create confident English speakers.
It's the compounding effect.
Remember this final thought. Make English a part of your life. Put it on your phone, in your private journal, in your thoughts, and in your voice. When you do that, it stops feeling like homework.
It just feels like something you live with.
And that is the moment when real fluency begins, when the language moves from something you study to something you live.
So a final thought for you listening. What one small 5-minute English habit will you start right now? Will you change your phone settings, record your first voice message, or maybe shadow a short part of this very deep dive? Whatever you choose, start today.
Thank you for joining us.
We'll see you next time.